Ladies and gentlemen, let's just jump right into it. This Survivor Series, as predicted, was complete garbage, okay? Now, we have to start understanding a couple things effective immediately. Number one, Triple H sucks at his job. We've been known this. But number two, this PLE, in all seriousness, at normal, at base, is like a 3 out of 10 at best. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this was a very, very bad show, and we're going to get into the multitude of reasons as to why that is accurate. However, the reason why this show, to me, the biggest reason I think this show sucked is because of a few different things. Number one, I forgot, guys. First off, I didn't forget. I just forgot how egregious this was. Now, we had the first WWE ESPN PLE with WrestlePalooza in September, right? So that's September. We then had October. We had Crown Jewel, which was complete garbage. The PLE before that, like I said, WrestlePalooza was complete garbage. Pretty much everybody didn't even like it. Even ESPN graded that own show like a C or a D. You know what I'm saying? That show was complete trash. Then we have now Survivor Series in late November. There's no PLEs on ESPN next month in December. So that's 4 months now, right? If you got the ESPN streaming subscription, that's 4 times 30 a month, right? So that's $120 that we have spent so far, that some of us have spent so far, to see Survivor Series tonight, which sucked, WrestlePalooza, which is arguably the worst PLE of the year besides Mania 41, and then we got Crown Jewel, which was boring, forgettable, and largely awful. $120 for those three things. Is this worth it? Is this worth it, guys? Seriously, is it worth it? It's not. It's a waste of money and a waste of time. Garbage, nonsensical booking, nothing works, nothing has any connective tissue at all, which is going to be a main theme I'm going to discuss later on in this video, but this was a disaster. The moral of the story is the opening match, and just all these matches in general, I've been saying this for weeks, guys. There's no good storylines, there's no drama, there's no intrigue, there's no great promos leading into really any of these matches. None of these matches. So already heading into this show, the max you can get is a 6 or a 5 out of 10, because you have no storylines, right? If you don't have a story, if you're not telling me any stories, why should I care about any of the stuff that's happening? And then in these actual matches, you barely got anything notable or memorable from an in-ring perspective or in-ring storytelling or in-ring action perspective that actually makes these matches anything above garbage. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just, this was a really, really bad night. The opening match with the Women's War Games, I'm going to absolutely lose it when it comes to that match. That match was a complete and utter disaster. It was awful. John Cena, and it told no stories in that match as well. And Rebecca Lynch, who got tapped out by AJ Lee 2 months ago at WrestlePalooza, and then got pinned off a crossbody a few weeks ago on Raw by Maximus Dupree, is now tapping out to AJ Lee again. So for the men in the Women's War Games matches, we've seen them brawl for a few weeks, and now they're brawling inside of a cage with nothing new added to it literally at all besides maybe one or two things, like Io Sky's trash can spot we've seen 50 times. So that's that. We'll get to the Women's War Games match in a second. It's the worst War Games women's match ever, or at least one of them. Cena's match sucked. We're going to explain that in full detail, because that John Cena, this being his final PLE match ever, in the way that played out, him losing to Dominic Mysterio, who he just fought on Raw a few weeks ago, him doing a rematch in his second to last match, is embarrassing. It's embarrassing, guys. And we're going to explain why that match completely sucked. Stephanie Vaquer versus Nikki Bella. I dozed off and didn't even really watch this match besides the first 5 minutes and like the last 10 seconds, so who cares? This is a waste of time, and Nikki Bella's heel turn has basically been a waste of time, and it's already basically over. She's clearly not as good in the ring anymore because she is older and she's retiring soon. It's done. You notice how that's a common theme? Everybody's retiring soon. Lesnar's retiring soon. Punk's gonna retire soon. Roman's done soon. Cena's retiring in a few weeks. Orton will be done in a few years. It's everybody's retiring soon because everyone is old. We have no new stars. The show ended with Roman Reigns telling Cody Rhodes, we're never teaming again. We have beef. We have a problem. How many times are we going to see this, man? They've been having problems for 3 years. Where are the new storylines? I'm tired of seeing mid-card Dominic Mysterio, who is an overrated jobber, come out here and get multiple IC title reigns, while Trick Williams is a super senior in NXT. Trick Williams is more over than him. He is more imposing than him, right? Trick Williams looks like more of a star than Dominic Mysterio does. He's better on the mic. He has more charisma. He's better in the ring. And he's more over. Or at least he's super over with what he's doing. Whether he's a face or a heel, he's going to be able to get over, right? And that's what we have. And he's in NXT while Dominic is winning multiple IC title reigns. Triple H is ignorant and has no idea how to find talent. Zero idea how to build stars. That's why everybody is old or retiring soon. Then we have the main event match, which obviously told no stories, and it doesn't make any sense. Why is Roman Reigns cool with Punk and not cool with Cody? He was just fighting Punk 6 months ago, or 7 or 8 months ago, whatever, at WrestleMania 41. Now they're cool, because they're Z-Bros. You know what I'm saying? They're Z-Bros, because they did the movie together, Zootopia or whatever, right? It doesn't make sense. And then Brunson Reed, he didn't get, I don't think he got an actual championship shot going forward. He got one on SmackDown versus Cody, but it ended in a DQ, so he should get a rematch. Because now Braun Breaker, because he pinned CM Punk, is probably going to get a match for the world title. So it's just, none of it makes sense. Let's move on. The bottom line is, the show for those reasons alone can already be deemed as garbage. I can end the video right there. But we're going to continue to go through all the matches and what happened, because this show was a disaster from start to finish, and it was absolutely awful. So let's just get into the show. I will say, though, before we get into the show real quickly, the fact that this show is one of the big four, this Survivor Series, right? This is one of the big four PLEs of the year. And on top of that, this from a roster perspective, like the names on the card, even though we only had 4 matches because Triple H is lazy and doesn't know what he's doing, you know these shows have no effort put into them, because here's the thing. AEW Blood and Guts is way better than this show. It's as simple as that. And the only way we can actually get a actual good product going forward, you understand what I'm saying, from WWE possibly, is to have an actual rival company like AEW start to rival WWE in viewership and in intrigue. If that happens, WWE will finally be forced, and Triple H will be forced to actually do his job. But until that happens, it's not going to happen. So it's really just as simple as that. But one thing I wanted to note, this is a big 4 PLE of the year. It's as simple as that. And of course, obviously, they're charging $30 a month for this garbage. And it's a big 4 PLE. And from a roster perspective, the names on the card, this is arguably the most stacked show of the year from just the names appearing on the show. Lesnar, Cena, Roman, Punk, Cody, etc., right? Obviously, the only 2 of those that are actually stars, 3 of them that are actually stars, are Cena, Lesnar, and Roman. That's why when Roman and Lesnar came out, the camera only focused on them, and the crowd completely forgot about what was happening inside of the ring. Everyone was only focused on what was happening with Lesnar and Roman. But anyways, we are literally watching this, right? Big 4 PLE, most stacked card of the year in terms of the names that are actually on the card, and this show still managed to completely suck. That's what brings this show down to be even worse, right? Cody Rhodes is talking about, oh, well, War Games is my birthright. It's my birthright. My birthright. I respect you. I love you. I need you. And this is his birthright. It's supposed to be a match specifically designed for, like, the ending of blood feuds. You know what I'm saying? Complete war. That's the name of the thing, is War Games, right? It's supposed to be the culmination of epic and crazy feuds that need to be settled inside of the War Games format. And now War Games is just a soft, you know what I'm saying, like PG version of everything. It's garbage. Simple as that. Now let's get into the show. Now let's start off with the absolute monstrosity that was the Women's War Games match. This match is one of the worst matches of all time. I kid you not. Last year's Women's War Games started off with 30 minutes of straight botches. And this match started off and ended with a complete, how long was this match? Like 50 minutes to an hour? This was the worst match ever, it felt like, bro. One of the worst matches I've ever seen by far. It was a 1-hour waste of time. And I told you guys for the weeks and weeks leading up to this match that there was no story. There was no build. Therefore, when the match actually happened, you could have had great spots, which, by the way, this match had barely any memorable spots. Maybe I missed them because I was dozing off and falling asleep. But at the end of the day, there was nothing of note or intrigue inside of this match. And that is embarrassing, bro. An hour match just for you to tell us with 10 minutes left in the actual match that the match just started, bro. This is embarrassing, guys. We know better, man. We know better. You know what I'm saying? This is absolute garbage. It's patchy. It's slow. It's choreographed awfully. And it's so botchy and boring. Oh my gosh. This match was so boring, bro. No one is rewatching this match ever. Ever. What, Io Sky? She had a trash can, Cole. She's going to jump off and they're going to put on a banger. Nobody cares, bruh. It's boring. My goodness, man. How can you get to this match with all these names, all these stars, quote unquote, and you get to the match, and obviously it doesn't matter. I told you guys this a billion times. If you can put a billion stars inside of a match. You can have a match with Roman, Rock, Cena, Lesnar, and Undertaker if you want to. But if there's no story, there's no drama, there's no intrigue, the match is predictable, there was no good promos leading up to it, and in the match you do nothing memorable or creative with the stars, it's going to be a forgettable piece of garbage. And that's what this match was. I already watched it and I don't even remember really anything I saw, man. You had all the competitors came in the match. I told you they changed the entrance style format, which honestly, it still is equally as bad. I don't care. Okay, I really don't care. And at the end of the match, obviously, you realize throughout this whole entire match, by the way, this is not a match that was worthy of war. Like Wade Barrett says, we're in the War Games, Cole. War. Goodness gracious, what is the war? You know what I'm saying? This slow and botchy match that's incredibly boring. The crowd's like into it and out of it pretty much the whole time. They're barely intrigued by this garbage and this nonsense. And I'm supposed to sit here and talk about this match like it's good? It's trash. Just like Io Sky's in a trash can, so is the match, man. It's as simple as that. And it all ends up after boring stuff, which, by the way, wrestlers just randomly disappear in War Games matches. They just randomly disappear. AJ Lee will go out and go take a sip of water, you know what I'm saying, or go relax in the back corner or some stuff while every other wrestler is around fighting. There's nothing to say about this, man. They're in and out of the match. There's a bunch of unchoreographed, it is super choreographed. That's what makes it look stupid. And on top of that, no one had any memorable or amazing moments in this match. There was no drama, no intrigue, and we obviously knew the faces were going to win. And the way they won, Becky Lynch, who tapped out to AJ Lee 2 months ago at WrestlePalooza after that build-up, just tapped out again to AJ Lee. So we watched these two teams brawl for a couple weeks on Raw, tell no stories, just to get a match where Becky Lynch does the same thing she did 2 months ago. 2 months ago, she did this at WrestlePalooza, and now she's doing it again, bro. It's unacceptable. Rebecca Lynch is a jobber, okay? Charlatan Flair is a jobber. AJ Lee is a jobber. Rhea Ripley is a jobber. Io Sky is a jobber. Lash Legend, unfortunately, came out and got no pop, so unfortunately, she is a jobber. Nia Jax right now is a jobber. The Kabuki Warriors are jobbers. And Alexa Bliss, you are a jobber. Everyone in this match is a jobber because that's what the story and the booking dictates, because Triple Fraud sucks at his job, and honestly, these wrestlers did a terrible job inside of this match. It's unfortunate, but we gotta call the facts what they are. This match was complete garbage. It gets a negative 15 out of 10. This was a complete and utter disaster class, bro. Disaster class. How is Rebecca Lynch gonna recover from this? How? Crossbody by Maxine Dupree and pin, and now you're tapped out for the second time to the same person in 2 months. It's over. And we have to acknowledge the alleged future of the industry, Rhea Ripley, who comes out there and after months and months and months saying, I'm gonna take back my title, I never lost. Yeah, she gets in a match, and no one in this match has any ability to tell stories except for maybe Becky Lynch, and that's it. That's it. No one else is telling any stories in this match. Literally nobody. AJ Lee isn't telling any stories. Nobody's selling in a great way except for maybe Io, and that's basically it. Like, there's not. What did this match accomplish? What did it accomplish? If the heels would have won, what would have changed? Right? The faces won. What changed? Nothing. There's no consequence, no story, no drama, no intrigue. It's slow and choreographed garbage, botchy nonsense with no meaning and no interest in it at all. This was an absolute disaster. I could go on forever. Oh man, this was bad. This was awful. And then we had Jonathan Cena versus Dominic Mysterio for the IC title. You guys know I'm not a big fan of the fact that obviously John Cena just fought Dominic 2 weeks ago on Raw, and now we're rematching again. I don't like John Cena having a rematch in his second to last match ever in his final PLE appearance, but it is what it is. Basically, we start off the match, we get a massive pop for Jonathan Cena, okay? I just cannot believe, man. The emotions are now starting to factor in and set in on the fact that John Cena is really done in 2 weeks, and I will be showing up to John Cena's final match, man, at Saturday night's main event in a couple weeks, bro. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, the booking of the match itself and the booking of his whole retirement tour has sucked, which we're going to talk about in this match, but at the end of the day, it really is what it is, man. John Cena's done. He is a legend. He is, in my opinion, the greatest of all time, and seeing the crowd give him love, man, it's like we can't give him enough love, right? Because the booking isn't doing it. It just doesn't feel like it's over, even though it really is. You know, it feels like we haven't really gotten our money's worth, or not even just our money's worth, just our what's it called, our satisfaction in general of what John Cena's final year of wrestling should have been. It should have been a retirement tour that was built off of a tribute to Cena. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, you rehash some of his greatest hits in ring and out of ring, and you know, with his greatest feuds, you could have some amazing backstage segments, which we barely got any of this year. None of the stories are really that memorable that he's done, quite frankly, besides maybe a couple. And quite frankly, it just doesn't feel like, for someone as great as Cena, right? It just doesn't feel like we have gotten a retirement tour worthy of what John Cena has brought to professional wrestling for the last over 2 decades at this point. You know what I mean? This retirement tour wasn't worth it, man. And it's sad to say it, but it's facts, bro. So in this match, it basically had a bunch of shenanigans and a bunch of ref bumps and dirty cheating like Dirty Dom does. This is starting to get repetitive, and quite frankly, I don't care. Liv Morgan, all right? Olivia Morgan returns. You know what I'm saying? Rhea. Like, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan are probably going to feud within 2 weeks of this return. But Liv Morgan is back. It's great to see her. You know what I'm saying? She is one of the top stars in the women's division, so she'll obviously, you know what I'm saying, will improve some things in the women's division on Raw. Now that she's back with the Judgment Day as well, maybe it'll make them slightly more interesting, because right now they're like a 0 out of 10 on the interest level. Maybe they'll go up to a 2 or a 3. But at the end of the day, Liv Morgan is back. We'll get to that in a second. This match starts off with a bunch of repetitive nonsense that nobody cares about. We just saw this match 2 weeks ago, so the only notable things in this match are obviously all the shenanigans and interferences and all the crazy stuff that took place. Raquel Rodriguez hits a Tejada bomb on John Cena after Dominic Mysterio fakes his injury. They had a spot where he acted like he broke his shoulder or something like that. And during this, Raquel and Roxanne for some reason are involved in this match. I don't know why, but they go in the ring. They hit both of their finishers on John Cena. John Cena, in his second to last appearance ever, his final pay-per-view / PLE ever, and he's getting pop-roxed by a jobber and Tejada bombed by another jobber. Do you understand how embarrassing this is, guys? Would you have thought that at the beginning of John Cena's retirement tour that we would be ending it with Raquel Rodriguez hitting a Tejada bomb on John Cena and Roxanne Perez hitting a pop-rox? This is stupid. And there's no story or dynamic or intrigue into any of this stuff with him and Dom. It's like John Cena and Dom didn't even go that hard on the mic when they had the chance to cut their promos together, bro. It was a disaster class. And then Dominic Mysterio, after he fakes a shoulder injury, goes in, hits his 619, and then hits a splash. The ref is pissed at him and doesn't even go for it. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to the cover. You know what I'm saying? Because he's upset that Dominic would fake the injury and try and move on with the match like nothing happened. And then the ref just randomly is okay with Dominic again. You know what I'm saying? Dominic should be kicked out of the match and the match should be canceled for that level of cheating. But for some reason, the match just keeps going. So I guess we're just okay with cheating now. Then afterwards, John Cena bumps the ref with a shoulder tackle. JD McDonald's comes out to sell you a quarter pounder and a Dr. Pepper, while Phineas Balor, the jobber himself, Finn Balor, comes out there and they try and beat up John Cena. John Cena then overpowers both of them and hits a double attitude adjustment, which was pretty cool to see. Kind of reminds me of back in the day, you know what I'm saying, when he hit the double AA on Edge and Big Show at Mania 25. Pretty great moment. Obviously, this is nothing on the level of that, but, it's cool to see. It's his second to last appearance. Whatever. The question I have, where is Rey Mysterio during this? His son and his faction that Rey has been feuding with for years and was just fighting them on Raw doesn't show up to help Cena here, even though he was just helping Cena last week on Raw. Then you also have R-Truth, John Cena's biggest fan and biggest friend. Where the heck is he at? Nowhere to be found. Randy Orton, could he show up? You haven't used him in months. Where's Randy Orton? Not there. No one comes out to help Cena versus the Judgment Day. It's unacceptable. Even Nikki Bella, right? I understand that obviously they're divorced, you know what I'm saying? But in storyline, Liv Morgan's last feud before she, got injured was going to be Nikki Bella. And they literally had their promo together and everything, and she was taking shots at Nikki. Nikki doesn't come out to stop Liv at all. You know what I'm saying? It could have been a great moment. And then Cena and Nikki hug after, no, extra intention or anything. They just hug and we move on. It's a good moment. Cena maybe retains or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But there's no connective story or tissue to any of this. All we get is a bunch of nonsensical and garbage booking that doesn't work for anyone. After all this takes place, Liv Morgan comes out and she returns. She she botches this punch that she does to Dominic Mysterio, okay? And then after this happens, she fakes like she's going to help Cena win. She jumps into his arms, and then she gets out of that, hits him with a low blow. Cena then takes a 619 and a splash, and Dominic pins him. By the way, the ref had to get in the ring after Dominic hit the finisher. So Dominic had Cena on the mat there for like 5 to 10 seconds. The ref came in and still was able to count to 3. How much more of a jobber can you make John Cena look like? John Cena, by the way, guys, at SummerSlam took how many crossroads? Cody Rhodes is the WWE champion, and it took him like 5 or 6 crossroads minimum to pin John Cena, with a bunch of other stuff that happened in that no-holds-barred match at SummerSlam as well. That's what it took the WWE champion to beat John Cena. But to beat John Cena now, it takes a couple 619s, a couple splashes from a mid-carder, and a couple of finishers from jobbers and a title belt hitting him in the side of the head, and he's pinned. Are you kidding me? It's just, none of this makes any sense, guys. There's nothing that you can say to counteract what I just said. It's just factually stupid. There's no other way to really go about it at this point, man. The booking makes no sense, and it was absolutely atrocious to see the booking the way this match was done. I don't care about all the interferences and stuff. That's cool. You can do that. I don't care. But when it stops making sense, the booking is bad. Nothing is connecting to anything we've seen on Raws and SmackDowns. And on top of that, it just simply is nonsensical to have Cena lose like this when we've seen him take more damage. None of this made any sense to me. And it doesn't make sense to anyone if you're actually thinking about what you're watching. But if you're not, then I'm sure that this was an amazing moment and you loved it. You know what I'm saying? Everything is awesome. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically it, okay? John Cena gets pinned by Dominic Mysterio and loses the Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio walks off with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan shouting in the camera and talking about we're back, we're back, we're back. Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Let's just move on. This was a disaster class, and knowing that Cena has one match left after this, no belt involved, you know what I'm saying? We just had him lose this match in a stupid way. This was really embarrassing to see. This is the greatest wrestler of all time, you know what I'm saying, in my opinion, and in many people's opinions, and he's at least one of the greatest. And this is how he's going out, with bad booking, nonsense, stuff that doesn't work and doesn't connect with anything we've seen this year, and that simply just makes John Cena look like a jobber. I don't, like, how can you go from winning a WWE championship, successfully retaining it or whatever, and then having a match where you almost brought the WWE champion Cody Rhodes to the brink of losing again to you clean at SummerSlam, or not clean, but it's a no holds barred, so everything's on the table, but you get the point. He almost beats Cody Rhodes. Now you fast forward 2 months, and it's just over. He just loses. It's like, I don't even know what to say at this point, man. It's just sad. It's really depressing seeing what's happened to John Cena this year, but the whole retirement run has sucked. From the heel turn, which now, after the heel turn, Triple H had 9 more months to book this dude, and it's only gotten worse since the heel turn. So I just the face turn was great. He's happy with the crowd. That's great. I'm glad they did that, but they did that off of impulse because they had to. Because after 5 months of Triple H booking his heel run, it sucked, and they had to make immediate changes. So it is what it is. This is a disaster. It sucks to see Cena go out like this, but hey, man, at the end of the day, this is what happens. His retirement tour sucks. Let's just move on. And then the main event, we had a bunch of artificial booking. We have seen the faces beat up the heels here for many months. You have your WWE champion, your World Heavyweight champion, Romano Reigns, who's now, a jobber, now, and Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso as well, the greatest tag team of all time in the storyline. That's what they call them every single week when they show up on the show. And the artificial booking in this match was egregious. We've seen Cody beat everyone on the heel team, right? We've seen, or who has he not beat on the heel team? Literally, who has he not beat or knocked out? You know what I'm saying? Like, who has he not beat? I don't understand. He's a WWE champion. CM Punk, world champion. Same thing. Beat everyone else in the opposing team except for who? Logan Paul and Brock Lesnar. That's it. That's really it, Roman Reigns beat everyone on the other team except for Braun Breaker. And who else do we have? Jey Uso's in the same thing. He's beat everyone on the other team except for Brock Lesnar. That's it. Jey Uso's beat everyone on the other team. Jimmy Uso has pinned Bronson Reed, I'm pretty sure, and he's pinned, what's his name? Not Logan Paul, what's the dude's name, bro? What did Drew McIntyre. He beat Drew McIntyre earlier this year. So what are we watching? The faces have already beaten the heels a multitude of times. We know this match makes no sense even happening in the first place. And on top of that, we've already seen, like I said, we've seen the faces coexist before. So why is the whole narrative in this match that the faces can't coexist when Brock Lesnar, Michael Cole read the stat out loud, Lesnar has not had a team-up match in WWE since 2004. But we're supposed to believe that the faces are the ones that can't get along. Like, it's just, none of this makes any sense, right? The scenarios are stupid. The coexisting thing that the faces can't coexist but the heels can is dumb. And we've seen most of the faces literally work together all year. We've seen the Usos and Punk and Roman, teaming up throughout the year. Roman and Punk teamed up at last year's War Games, and they're shaking hands at the end of the show. So I don't understand this they can't coexist narrative. It's just stupid, man. And CM Punk, who took multiple finishers from Rollins in the opening match of the year with the Raw Netflix thing, he takes a multitude of finishers from Rollins, a bunch of pedigrees, kicks out of them all. But a random stop from a jobber who is likely Austin Theory, comes out there and stomps Punk, and the match just ends after Braun Breaker pins him. It's just, none of this makes any sense, guys. It makes no sense. But it is what it is. This match itself was artificially booked, like I said before. None of the dynamics make any sense, and it's completely tiring even talking about this absolute garbage. It's inexcusable. Inexcusable booking, man. So that's that. The match doesn't really start until Roman and Brock get involved. Once Roman and Brock get involved, you really see how much of jobbers everyone in the ring is. You know what I mean? Like, where does Drew McIntyre go from here, guys? Where does he go? He now looks like a fifth fiddle jobber. Same thing with Bronson Reed, who just pinned Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel like a month ago. Everyone in this match looks like a second fiddle jobber except for Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. And they have no gold. They have no championships, and they're the only main event attraction and draw of this match literally at all. So they did their thing. They basically had a chaotic brawl for like 5 minutes. It was a great portion of the match. I'll give them that. This is the only reason this show gets a 2 out of 10 rather than a negative 50. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar had a great brawl for like 5 minutes. Honestly, even with this brawl, this show's still a 1 out of 10 max. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, they came out. Roman felt like a threat again. He hit a couple of Superman punches. Him and Brock are staring each other down at the ramp. It was a great moment. Roman Reigns then tries to go for another Superman punch, and Lesnar counters him and F5s him through a table. Crowd's going crazy. Lesnar super hype. It's all hype seeing Roman and Brock go at it. You know what I'm saying? The nostalgia of it, and also the fact that they're the only 2 stars in the side of this entire arena right now. So they're basically going out there and they're brawling. They go in the ring. Lesnar gets speared through a table too. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. Lesnar's hitting F5s on people, suplexing everybody. It was a really, really crazy moment. Amidst all of this, before Lesnar came out, Jey Uso was yeeting mid-match. So you're telling me that the heels who are supposed to be beating the faces due to booking, obviously the booking should dictate that happens, but the booking hasn't been good for any of these heels on the other side, so it doesn't even make any sense why they're beating up the faces. But either way, they're beating up the faces, right? And in the midst of this, Jey Uso comes out, and then all of a sudden the faces get the upper hand, and Jey Uso's hitting super kicks, and they're yeeting mid-match. This is supposed to be War Games, guys. And Jey Uso is yeeting for 5 minutes during the match. Seriously, go look it up. It happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, this is embarrassing, man. Sorry, I hit my mic there with my hand by accident. I accidentally hit it, but still, this is embarrassing, bro. It's a disaster class of epic proportions. Anytime you have a match where we have a War Games and a guy is yeeting for multiple minutes during the match and CM Punk is laughing about it, it's unacceptable. But anyways, after this happens, like I said, Roman and Brock had their brawl. We all got in the ring. A random mysterious hooded figure comes in because, again, the camera panned away from the ring and no one even talked about what was happening in the ring for at least a few minutes. Michael Cole had to fill us in that Cody got low blow because no one cared about what was happening in the ring. Literally no one cared. This match was awful and sloppy, and when it started to get going with Lesnar and Roman doing their stuff, it ended randomly because a hooded figure came in. It's probably Austin Theory or Jacoby Fatu. I think it's Austin Theory, which, again, this is Austin Theory's last chance. He's a complete jobber, right? If he actually does, if he fails this run, another push from Triple H, it's over. So, yeah, Austin Theory does a curb stomp, and then Punk just gets pinned off of it, and that's it. I don't know what to say about this, man. I don't know what to say. Like, what do I say about this, bro? We literally watched CM Punk get pinned by literally nothing this match. Literally nothing. He's gone through so much more than that in the Mania main event, in the Raw Netflix match earlier this year. He's gone through all of that, and he finally now is getting pinned off of a stomp from a jobber. You can't make it up, man. So the heels win this match. It makes no difference. If the faces would have won, what would have changed? If the heels win now, what changes? Jay and Jimmy are going to come out on Raw, and they're still going to be feuding with Braun and Brunson. So what's the difference? Seriously, what was accomplished by this match? Roman and Brock now go on vacation for a month or two. Now what? You know? And after the match, Roman Reigns shakes CM Punk's hand and helps him up and gives him a fist pump and gives him the nod of respect like he did last year. It's the same ending. He then looks at Cody and says, we're never teaming again. Basically setting up the fact that him and Cody are probably going to go for round 3 at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Again, how many times are we going to get this? When are we going to build new stars and tell new stories? I've seen Roman Reigns versus Cody for the same thing for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so artificial. I'm so tired of this, man. We need new stories. I understand that Roman's the only main eventer this company has left, so he's going to main event regardless. I get that. But at least just have him do something new. We've seen him and Cody do the same Rigmarole nonsense now for years, man. We've seen it before. Build a new star, give them the belt, and then have Roman take it from them or something, or just go, or, you know what I'm saying, take the L and lose to that person. But Triple H can't build new stars, so we have to watch Roman and Cody on rinse and repeat for 4 or 5 years at this point. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's going to be, because after this match they have next year, they're still going to have an eventual match again going after that. It's not going to stop. So it's just stupid at this point. That's how the show ends. Roman tells Cody we're done, and that's it. Great. I don't care. Let's move on, man. To the end of the show, which is the best part of the show when the show finally ended. And the fact that we got a constant ads. The New Day are coming out doing ads, you know what I'm saying, talking about Cricket Wireless or whatever they were talking about, saying, thank God for Cricket Wireless. Well, thank God that this show ended because it was an absolute disaster. This show was complete garbage. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below about Survivor Series. I thought it sucked, and it gets a solid 1 out of 10 from your boy. Thank you all for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out and one love.